Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got the grand finals of the EU regionals for the ESL Masters. This man down here on the bloody warpath, he's been having some banging games recently. It's SERRAL in the bottom right side of the map. In the top left, we've got, of course, MAXPAX, a man who also beast modes his way to the finals. He's been looking so good online lately. I had a comment, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in my YouTube comments. I think it was in my YouTube comments the other day. Someone was saying, you know, I see MAXPAX, I know he's going to lose. This guy just can't compete with the best. And it's kind of a bit of a hype killer when I see his name in a title because I know that he's just going to automatically lose. I may have been a little, I did like a passive-aggressive snarky response where I basically just, I just kind of posted a link to the Aligulac current rankings and showed that he was number 3 in the world. And I think I left it at that. I probably said something snarky as well. Anyway, I was like, I'm like, don't get. I think I was like, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see him at LAN as well. I do think when he goes to LAN, he'll be so unused to it. He'll probably get smashed the first few times. But for now, he is one of the best in the world when it comes to online play. That is the only place he's been comfortable competing. No one's really had a chance to meet him in person. Now, actually, MAXPAX messaged me just the day before casting this yesterday saying, hey, what graphics do you recommend? So MAXPAX the Legend is actually taking my advice on graphics. And I said, oh man, I'm not actually an expert on graphics because I've been prioritizing viewer experience over the playing experience for quite a while now. So it is kind of a thing where I said, look, here's a few threads, a few resources where people have discussed it, but interesting to see. I think he might be considering changing his mouse as well, turning off mouse acceleration, but he didn't want to do that for this tournament, and that's because, of course, you know, big important tournament, didn't want to change any settings right before a big one. Anyway, let's talk about it, guys. We've got the Stargate on the way. Very standard opening so far. He's blocked SERRAL's third. SERRAL did a standard 16 hatchery opening on the third base. Adept's going to come in. And, oh, the Lings hit on the left. He hid the Lings from the Adept vision. That was a big brain move by SERRAL. That was a huge brain move, because he knew that the players always like to pull the queen to one side and then shade to the other side, kill a drone, and get out. So he kept the Zerglings just outside of vision. Keep in mind that the shade only has 4 vision, whereas a normal Adept has, I believe, 9 or 8 vision, something like that. And there we go. Adept coming forward. Queens are going to push it back, and SERRAL. God damn, SERRAL's early game. It's these little adjustments, man. I feel like in the old days, we used to think of a macro player as like a player who would just do the same thing, right? And just be so good at it they couldn't be stopped. But it's the little adjustments that really make SERRAL so bloody powerful. It's just that tiny little move with hiding the Zerglings on the left side that allows him to shut down the first Adept, which weakens the second Adept, which now allows him to be putting the counter pressure on MAXPAX third base, slows the Oracle down coming across the map, and this leads into a flow-on effect of, hey, my early game's way easier than it otherwise would be because of that small little detail that I added in there. And this is what I've loved to watch. Now, on the other hand, MAXPAX has gotten better and better. And from a player, I used to describe him as being very smart, but not that fast, not that great on the multitasking necessarily, compared to, you know, his other skill sets. Oracle doesn't take any real damage. He's okay with that. Yeah, you know, you're slowing down the drones from getting rallied over there. You bring another Oracle in. Let's finish that previous point, though. Hey, Pig, let's do some professional commentary. MAXPAX has gotten much better at multitasking. His multi-prong 4-gate blink in PvT is unmatched. I still think PvZ is a matchup which can be a little bit more fast-paced and brutal when it comes to like Zerglings surrounding Stalkers and things like that. But here we go. Man, he just can't get in. Now, keep in mind, you might think, what the hell? Is SERRAL God? No, he's got 7 queens, guys. This is a very early 7-queen opening. So he's committed a massive amount to anti-air in that regard. On the other hand, he's only built 1 Spore Crawler, which does make up for it. And he's already taking a 4th at the front, breaking the rocks to block the middle push path. Takes a 4th at like 4 minutes 40. God, this is a brutal start to the finals. MAXPAX needs to shut this down right now. By the way, guys, actually, wasn't this starting 1-0 in the favor of one of these players? Let me know. I believe SERRAL might be up 1-0, having come from the upper bracket, or is it just a single limb, actually? I think it might be a single limb. Either way, let me know if I've messed that up. Should have checked that just beforehand, actually. But Oracle's still unable to get any damage, guys. 1 drone, 1 Overlord. This is a very minimal amount of damage. Behind it, Blink +1, 4 gases going up to 4 gates. MAXPAX has not found the money just yet, and he also hasn't seen that purple gas hatchery, which is a big issue. Whew. Okay, Ling's doing that as well. Got a hatchery there. Baneling S, Roach Warren, extra hatcheries on the way. 5 more drones building. So SERRAL's going to be going up to 70 drones. Does he go any further than that? I think SERRAL's rule normally is if they don't take gases on their third, stop at about 66, 70 workers. I think because he's had a very good start, he might go a little beyond there. But there's no gas on that third, and that definitely is a little bit of a cause for worry. Second forge is on the way right now, so it's going to be a double forge mass blink opening. The adepts come forward with these oracles. SERRAL has creep everywhere. His rich gas is coming up on that base, and as the Baneling tech comes in, you can see Baneling speed and +2 melee aren't too far away. So you can imagine this game is most likely heading towards SERRAL because he's had such a smooth start going for a Mass Ravager Bane attack. The Oracles finally get a drone kill, guys. A drone kill to add to their single kill earlier in this game. My lord. Hats off to MAXPAX for not getting overeager and throwing his units away. He's preserved all 3 Oracles. He still has the efficiency there. We'll see how that one goes. 4th base at the front for him. He wants the rich gas as well. Okay. And I guess this is just a straight best of 7, as no one in the chat has clarified on that 1-0 lead. Lots of people here maybe who didn't watch the regionals. We'll see how we go. Sorry to outsource my own research to Twitch chat, guys. Just don't want to take time Googling things on my second monitor and miss anything in the game. 4 gates are there. Going up to 8 gateways now. We've got +2 melee starting. Overlords, Lings, Roaches. Baneling speed's almost done. It really feels to me like one of these games where the Protoss is a little too far behind for Stalkers to win the game. I always feel like if the Protoss has a bad start, Blink Stalkers look like the worst thing in the world. But MAXPAX, show us some magic, baby. Let's see what you can do, mate. Stalkers and Adepts are going to defend there. Yeah, a few Adepts go down. These aren't the most important units at this stage anyway. Stalkers at the front are still pressuring. You just have to be careful as MAXPAX to find efficiency with the Stalkers, because they're not a great unit except for their Blink ability. So just one big mess up on the Blinks, and this whole commitment is not worth it. He loses 2 Stalkers there. So a couple Stalkers going down. You can see the efficiency just isn't there. This is way too good of a trade for SERRAL, in my opinion. You can't be happy with that as MAXPAX. MAXPAX needs better than that. Banelings tried to come in the right side. They weren't able to get there. Still just double forge upgrades on the way. +2 attack. +2 armor hasn't started yet. He will need to find the cash for that. But you can see he's actually a bit too low on the gas. Only being on 4 gases. Double forge, mass stalker, 4 gas is always very hard. He needs to get either the purple gas up, which he's going to try to take now, or he needs to start making a lot more zealots. Going from 8 gateways to 10 gateways, we've got some zealots coming down that right side, but the Overlord has spotted it, and of course MAXPAX realizes he's spotted, so he backs away wisely. He knows that SERRAL's very good. He's going to move units to that right side, and we'll see how we go. This is a straight best of 7. They did get rid of the double elimination format, which allows for a more straightforward final series with a bit more hype behind it. And I really do like the changes this season in ESL. Apparently viewership went down a little bit, and a lot of people said they struggled to follow the Swiss format in the group stages. I'll talk more about that later. That's a lot of Banelings. Oh my god, there's no stasis traps, guys. There's no stasis traps. The Oracles need to turn those lasers on. Oh man, he's going to turn them on right now, but oh, that mineral line is in jeopardy as we speak. That is a huge, huge problem. Oh my lord. Oh my lordy lord. 14 probes do go down on that base. The Stalkers mostly surviving. MAXPAX needs to keep these Stalkers alive. He cannot get lazy on that. The Oracles are out of energy. SERRAL had a fantastic opening, completely blocking double adept pressure, completely blocking the triple Oracle, taking almost no damage. And you know what? He's not on that high in economy. He's only on 73 drones, but he's used that to make a gigantic army that is cascading in with a furious amount of Zerg. An avalanche of Roach Ravager Ling. Doesn't even need new Banelings right now. With those Oracles out of juice, it's a problem for MAXPAX. Now, you could argue maybe MAXPAX should have made more Oracles here, but you got to realize the creep is not that far off that base. SERRAL could have brought Queens with this. Relying on Oracles to defend this sort of attack is tentative, especially with this front base that he's taken. Now, he's got good upgrades, 2-1, with 3-2 now on the way. But being knocked back to 3 base versus a 5 base SERRAL, you can see the income disparity. Over 1,000 mineral advantage a minute for SERRAL. And we'll see how we go. Stalker's trying to go back. Man, this is the problem if you don't quite have the numbers. Stalkers are very good at just chipping away and pulling back, but it's all about critical mass. I've always talked about Stalkers being the most overpowered or like best or worst unit in the game, depending on the situation. And, oh, what Prism does try to go past. SERRAL blocks it with the queens. He's not letting that Prism into the dead space here next to his main where it can hit 3 different bases. SERRAL wisely continually blocks this Prism on the right side, because imagine if it's there, where do you put your queens? Up here, or over here? Instead, he's just blocking that one angle by zoning out the edge of the map, and that is fantastic. Lingbane Roach coming down this side as well. MAXPAX is in the back foot. A lot of Zergs used to complain about Blink Stalkers in the old days when it was all 2 and 3 base Blink Stalker timings. You just couldn't defend it if you were a little behind. We also see that if the Stalker player is a little behind and there's just a bit too much Zerg, the Stalkers look flaccid as all heck. Alright, very nice game one for SERRAL. Really clean opening for him, and his opponent in the bottom left, MAXPAX, now on Ancient Cistern. A rather big map. I always do wonder, if you have a bad start, is it worth cancelling out of that Blink Stalker build, going into Disruptors or some sort of bigger comeback unit? SERRAL didn't have a lot of tech progression, so I think there's definitely an argument behind adding either Storm or Disruptors in MAXPAX shoes, but easier said than done. Up here in the top right, SERRAL has gone for an Extractor trick into a 15 hatch, guys. Oh man, he used it first. I love so much that Eric has inspired SERRAL. This is so fantastic, you know. A lot of players said, I don't think 15 hatch is really that worth it, but obviously, you know, it was early days. No one was 100% sure. But look at that. He said from the start, and I talked about this in our video we did, where SERRAL said, you know, I think this build's best versus Protoss, because if you know they're going to pylon block, you get your hatchery down, and then you go 15 pool, you get your 2 queens out 10 seconds later. He said, look, you know, you still have a bunch of idle lava time, so he's like, I think 16 hatch is generally better, unless you're doing like a very 2-base build, but if they're going to block the hatchery and you have to take your third, 15 hatch is better. So great call by SERRAL to do it here. MAXPAX almost always tries to block the base, so that pays off big for him, because the probe, yeah, is able to do a little bit of harassment, but SERRAL's counter micro is fantastic. He's not letting his drones get bounced around. He's handling this very well. And keep in mind, guys, he's going to have really quick queens, so that's going to be amazing. Obviously, in Zerg vs. Terran, the earlier creep potentially coming out, as well as the Zergling backstabs that he used to great effect versus Clem, were a very big part of his victory there. So the 15-15, a great opening. Now, because he goes for the quick gas, which is more standard here versus Protoss, you do need to delay your third base until about 3 minutes. Maybe even a little later than that, which seems late, but look at how fast these queens are. They started on 1:50. Keep in mind, when Dark's natural gets blocked and he goes to take his third, often his third is so late, Dark doesn't start his queens until 18 seconds later than these 2 queens in a Zerg vs. Protoss. SERRAL's going to be almost a full lava inject ahead of that, and I guarantee if you guys go find like a Dark replay where his build's been a bit disrupted, and same with the other Zergs who maybe just send their drone out a little bit late, they're not expecting the pylon block, compare that to this build, you're going to have this base fully saturated about a minute faster. Like, it's a wild difference. Here we go, guys. Now, SERRAL does need to build another Overlord very soon. I'm not sure if he's forgotten that. Usually you need to build your Overlords very early with this build, or you do get supply blocked. He's going to need to start it right now, or it is going to be an issue. But he's actually going to try and squeeze the third hatchery in first. I think that makes the build worse. I think you need to go Overlord before third base. Let's find out how it times out with the SERRAL version. So he goes to 24 drones. He queues up another drone. He's going to go 31 third hatchery by the looks of it. Oh, he actually skipped it. Oh, he went very fast. Creep, I see. Okay, so SERRAL went super fast creep on the natural. Skipped that inject. And that allows him to squeeze in this fast third. And he says, that's fine. I'll just get the earlier base up. And that's totally fine. So fantastic to see how that goes. And, all right, what do we got? We've got Zergling breaking down the rocks, third and fourth queen coming out. Standard Oracle opening. MAXPAX playing very defensive in this game. And to be fair, if he came out with the Adept, the creep gives your queen a launch pad to be out there very far in front and intercepting said Adept super early. So notice this natural didn't get saturated as early as I thought it would, but his creep spread is wild. For 3.5 minutes to already have your creep here, this creep is going to be a big problem for MAXPAX in this game. So this is kind of crazy. Now the reason why, like I said, you want to go normally double inject with this is your queens are so early, but your third is delayed. But the thing is, he didn't delay his third that much. So this is an interesting way that SERRAL has adapted the build for ZvP. I really need to study this and practice this out. It comes out very similar to a normal opening, but with more creep spread. The great thing about this build is because your queens are out so much earlier, you can go inject first, then creep, and your creep is still not very, it's still very damn quick. So we'll see how we go. Oracle's going to move around that left side right now. We've got 5 queens on the map. 6th queen is on the way. +1 melee's already started up. SERRAL looking for a mass Zergling build. He's down a couple probes. But that's totally fine in a scenario where you are trying to, of course, get that anti-air up. Usually about 40 workers is where you overtake the opponent. 4 adepts arriving for MAXPAX. MAXPAX is going Forge Twilight. He's got the 4 gases. His third is very well timed behind this. But these adepts need to leave. He gets a creep tumor or 2. Plenty of Zerglings are out, guys. They're all popping right now. You do not want to shade in there. You do not want to shade in there. Oh my god, actually he goes for it. The Oracles get pushed back by the Queens on the bottom. SERRAL did not pull his drones away, which was surprising. I thought he would lose only a single drone. The Adepts in the mineral line do hold position quite well. Oh, Oracles actually catch the drones there. Whoa, okay, hold that thought, guys. MAXPAX is not... Oh my god, he's actually doing very well. Okay, 7 drones is fantastic. Creep is spreading everywhere. SERRAL was about to massively overtake in workers. MAXPAX says, no. You may have held me off in the previous game, not this time. Those Zerglings popped, I guess, just a few seconds too late, and I do think SERRAL probably should have pulled those drones slightly faster. Maybe, I mean, you don't want to uproot the Spore. You kind of want to uproot the Spore to let your guys surround the Adepts better, but he needed to get some Lings around the side of the mineral line to do that. Oracle comes in the natural, distracts the Queens, doesn't find anything, pulls back, main base. Good drone pull there for SERRAL. MAXPAX, he's going more gateways, so it's a 5-gate blink +1. Are we going to see gases on the third is my big question, or does MAXPAX have faith in his double upgrade for gas style? As I say it, yep, second forge. MAXPAX says, this is my most solid style. I'm just going to do this. This is the best style. Problem, it's predictable. It's always nice when you find a style you're very confident in, but if your opponent can expect it, by God, you have a much higher bar to clear in terms of performance of this build. SERRAL might not be the guy who does the cheesy all-in to punish you. That's what you got to worry about, being predictable against a guy like Dark. But against SERRAL, it's just the fact that he's going to be ready for everything you throw. So it's all going to be raw efficiency, execution, and skill to see how well you pull this bad boy out. And that's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. Zergling's up on the top left side. Could focus a few probes down, but doesn't want to take that cannon fire. And 4th Nexus at 6:30. Holy shizzle fizzle. Guys, remember when this style was first getting created? I think it was Glittering Ashes. First time I saw MAXPAX take a 4th base at like 5:45, and I was like, what did you just do? You can't do that. He said, oh yeah, no, I can. And I was like, are you, what? Don't you just die? He's like, nah, Oracles and Blink Stalkers are good. Not to mention Shield Batteries. And I was like, this still seems wild, man. That base gets cancelled. This is huge. Yeah. This SERRAL knows what he's up against. He's already seen the pylon going down. Oracle cannot defend that. Great move for SERRAL. Oh, he gets it. Cancel. He doesn't cancel. Oh, no. MAXPAX misses the cancel. Big mistake for MAXPAX. MAXPAX needs to pop that new one down immediately. He will do so. It's not that big of a delay on the Nexus, but the 400 minerals is expensive. Hive's already on the way. SERRAL is going to go straight to Hive. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get to see Ultras today. Now, obviously, you might be like, no. It could be for Vipers. What's he got Vipers for, guys? He's playing Mass Link. There's no need for Vipers. Oh, it could be Broodlords. No, he's not playing Broodlords versus Mass Blink style. I guarantee you that. He's 100% going Ultras, because Ultras wreck Zealots and Stalkers. They don't do too badly versus Archons. Archons and Ultras kind of is just a bit of a weird fat boy battle where big, slow, fat, tanky units fight each other. It could just be for Adrenal, chat points out, which is true. But the thing is, Lings will not scale once Mass Archons come in as well. So going just for Adrenal, I mean, that would be a very European thing to do, to be fair. Plus 40% attack speed. Damn it! I believe SERRAL has the biggest brain. He's going to do all the things that I like doing, because I am such a fan. Stalkers here do pick off a Queen. Nice micro for MAXPAX. He's got to cover from those Zerglings. Good pullback. Really nice micro. Prism on the top side finds that 5th base as well. SERRAL's at 86 drones versus 70 probes. He's definitely stopped MAXPAX from outscaling him too hard, but +1 armor is now kicking in. Slight upgrade advantage for MAXPAX in this battle. He's got to use those Oracles to defend those Zerglings. Well done. Zealots on the top. Charge is not quite done, but 5 drones go down. Ooh, Banelings roll in. 10 probes fall. MAXPAX in trouble. He's got to reprobe. He starts doing it right now. And those Zealots doing enough damage that I think this is acceptable. Oh my god, he's gonna get the hatchery. Okay, SERRAL needs to route this army. Those Oracles are almost out of juice, which means SERRAL can chase. I think he can fully chase this army. I think he can ignore these Oracles to a certain extent, but he doesn't feel confident doing it. The Banelings roll into the Stalkers. A few of them go down. Units lost tab is right now massively in MAXPAX's favor. That efficiency we were talking about, you can't really get it when you're outnumbered like in game 1, but in this game, he gets a hatchery. SERRAL's back to 4 bases. That one's very damaged. It could go down at any moment to one of these future Stalker waves. And with 1/1 upgrades, that's looking pretty good. On the other hand, +2 melee is done. SERRAL forgot roach speed. You're friggin' kidding me. Oh, no way. I was wondering why his army felt so slow. His roach speed got forgotten. Oh, no. And he's going to go +3 melee, and I would imagine Adrenal, but he doesn't have the money for it right now. Adrenal is the more important upgrade, guys, much more important than +3. But obviously he didn't have the money for both at once. Zerglings are going to try and scramble on those Zealots. Bit of a skirmish up there. Man, these Roaches chasing off Creepers so bad. I actually think SERRAL has the numbers where he could have done this. Oh, a single Stalker chumps those Banelings for the team. Well done, well done. Those Banelings unable to get in. 5th base is going to go down. SERRAL's Lings will spot it. And, you know, man, he's macroed so well. If he had Roach Speed, I think this could have been much worse for MAXPAX. We might have actually seen SERRAL just overwhelm that southern side. As it is, that hatchery's only got 400 hit points. The Lingbane Roaches rolling into it time and again. Zealots in the main taking out some queens, but the Prism did fall, which means that Northern Strike has been shut down. There is no angle to reinforce, you know. They got a Stinger inside the Chinook, and that's going to be very good for SERRAL and his dirty, the dirty Zerg controlling the top right side of the map. By the way, the creep spread hasn't been spreading. But earlier, he got so much creep out that it's given him a good bit of control in his corner of the map. I really like it. If he can respread here, and yeah, take this hatchery, that's going to be very nice. MAXPAX has got a Robo Bay. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh my god! Okay, 7 probes could have been a lot worse. MAXPAX, Mass Stalker on the south side, 67 probes, 80 drones. We've got a stasis trap going up on the left side of this. A single Roach takes that. For the team, SERRAL massing Zerglings right now. The Oracles get so much value in the long run of these fights, but the Stalkers, if he could pull them behind those minerals, might be the play here. The Oracles get some fantastic damage, mate. Still ahead 4,000 resources, but those Zealots take a bad fight. Plenty of Roaches and Lings. Unfortunately, SERRAL did forget Adrenal, guys. I guarantee you guys he thought he was getting it. Oh no, the Banelings find MAXPAX again. SERRAL taking him out in this big multitasking war. The supply is not that high for either player. These Stalkers are all veterans, guys, which means they're very good at fighting. They know how to fight. They will not break. Their morale won't break. They know that they're ready to lay down their life for the cause. Problem, they're all heavily wounded. They've all got broken joints, battle scars for days. Their cartilage is all missing. And those Stalkers, even though they're vets and they've all got bloody sick kills, 11 kills, 5 kills, 2 kills, 9 kills, 4 kills, that is an issue in the long run. As they are just not as tanky as they could be. Lurk attacks on the way. SERRAL 100% thought that he went plus Adrenal, +3 melee. So he's probably never going to realize, because you don't really check for that upgrade and you don't really notice the speed of your Zerglings attacking in a battle. You just assume you have it. So unfortunate for SERRAL that he's going to be missing that upgrade all game long. You can see the supply is pretty close. A rando Calrissian, the Disruptor, rallies through the Zerg army. Not very good for him. Prism in the main goes down again. SERRAL's queens have been on fire, mate. Takes out yet another Warp Prism trying to drop in the main. Great transfuses. Does take out those Zealots as well. And it's still Mass Stalker. He's adding Disruptors occasionally. It's the occasional Disruptor, but MAXPAX is saying the way I win this game is these Oracles just getting value with stasis traps, with their lasers. They've got like 15 kills. I think all 3 Oracles have 15 kills. Now, one of them has 13 kills. 2 of them have 15. That's insane value, not even counting the stasis trap. Zealots on the top going to keep denying this base. SERRAL does have it at full base mining in that central location, but it just feels like he can't get out from underneath these waves, and that is a beautiful force field of his own units with the stasis trap. Zealots in the back door, Zealots in the front door. Banelings take him out, but that's never the most efficient trade, right? Unless you're hitting like 10 Zealots all clumped together. Lots of mining time going down. SERRAL finally realizes that Adrenal is missing, and he does start it up, but it might be a little too late now. MAXPAX is established on 80 probes. He's got the economic advantage. If MAXPAX can establish one more base, which he's trying to take here, then I think he outscales SERRAL. SERRAL can't keep up. On the other hand, Lurkers are here. Lurkers could change things. Disruptors coming forward. There's an Observer. It's only 2 so far. Oh, great first Disruptor shot. 1 Lurker goes down. One of them deep in the red. More Zealots going to go on that top left side, but notice that SERRAL has a big Roachling army of his own. The only problem is if he counterattacks with that and loses those units, I feel like the Zealots are going to be even more effective. They come in. The army does pull back for SERRAL, but a little bit too late. Southside, MAXPAX managing to control this area. He's created this permanent indentation in the creep spread. For those who don't know, much like in a fight for your life, you would like to create an indentation in your opponent's face. You know, you want to rearrange their face, as they sometimes say in the fighting world. Yes, as MAXPAX, you want to rearrange your opponent's creep and dent some of these bases in. And he's now going to rotate to a different angle. There is a lot more creep here, but he's got a Disruptor in the backside. Stasis Trap's trying to go down. Stalker Blink is pretty big. Disruptor does take out a bunch of Roaches on that left side. There's a Colossus here as well. And man, those Stasis Traps are big. Right now, SERRAL's whole army You know, can you believe it? As Serral, you're the commander, you're saying, fight, boys, fight. You realize your opponent has offered them a treat, and they are all sitting there meekly waiting. Ooh, yes, sir. Please feed me a treat. Stay. Stasis. Stasis. MAXPAX crushes through and takes out Serral there. I do think it all came off the back of that forgotten roach speed, though. Serral forgetting roach speed and adrenal glands, but MAXPAX showing some impressive macro Blink Stalker Oracle play. Very nice. All right, guys, going game 3. Serral believes in the power of the 15 hatch. He does it again. MAXPAX probe scouts again. I think this is a winning situation for Serral. I really feel for MAXPAX, going for a blind build is the counter, but Serral's been so tricky lately, which is the problem. Right? Serral has been very tricky. He could mix in a 12 pool hatch block or something crazy like that, right? So I think this map's kind of terrible for hatch block because you can't build a hatchery here because the gas is too close. So I think this is, and it's got such a long rush distance. I do think you can skip it. Oh! Guys! Serral just trapped his probe! The probe went around to harass the minerals and Serral built a spawning pool there. No. I mean, he's gonna have to recall it before the queen pops out. I guess he just harasses those 3 mineral patches until then. You know, I gotta say, that is one of the best spots to harass, right? That is one of the most annoying spots. So, and then he could just recall the probe. There's an argument that this is not too bad for MAXPAX, actually. As funny as that is. This probe just... He's like, that's alright, this is my harassment station. Thank you for protecting me. Oh, very cool way for this game 3 to start up here. Oh, I'm really impressed with MAXPAX in that last game. I do wonder though, if you just play this double upgrade style every game, can you really take out Serral with it, or will he just swarm you with Ravagerling Bane? Yeah, recall comes out, very worth it, because that instantly gives you a probe, whereas chrono boosting also will get you out of probe, but it'll take a bit longer, so not bad. Very defensive play here for MAXPAX. Notice he's building the Adept but not chronoing it, and he's about to cancel that Warp Gate and build a Stargate. No, he's going to go Glaives. He's going Twilight, guys. Yeah, he's about to build... No? It's Warp Gate into Stargate. Interesting. Serral comes back in, sees the Warp Gate still spinning, and he goes, oh, okay, this must be a Twilight build. But Serral is one of these players who very regularly checks the main with his Overlord. A lot of players never do this. And yet, the thing is, if you're not regularly building a Stalker, that's super worth. Look, he gets the free information. I, for a long time, criticized the Stargate always being built in this area because it's so easy for an Overlord to poke in, get free scouting, and get out. And once again, it happens here. So the going for the Warp Gate to try and trick his opponent for MAXPAX doesn't work at all. And Serral has some of the best scouting in Zerg vs Protoss in this early game. And the reason it's the best is he changes it game to game. Sometimes his Overlord will go straight through the main base at the start. You know, he just, no, let's see what your tech is. Take the risk of going through the main. Hope you don't go Stalker first. He randomizes it enough. And he's actually got some calculated gambles in there. You know, we talk about Serral not really being a gambler. He happily takes very small gambles with his scouting. He kind of randomizes things enough that it's hard to do. So this is fantastically done for Serral. And he's got 3 hatcheries up now. He's going to 4 queens, I believe, or 5 queens already. And this first Oracle is, of course, a little delayed. The Adept's going to work its way back towards his 3rd base. Link speed will kick in. There's only 2 links on the map. And that's going to be, surely the 3rd Nexus needs to go down pretty soon, right? There was a slight supply block on 54. Oh, he's going to go for this 3rd base over here. Interesting. Okay. I do like the straight line expansions a lot of the time. Seems like MAXPAX does as well. The front one's always a little more exposed to like Queen Walk and that sort of stuff, just pushing down this left side of the map and straight up that ramp. Oracle working its way around the very back of the natural. Serral has not seen it, but he knows. He's like, well, I've got full vision everywhere except here. I mean, I got to keep that avenue covered. Serral leaving no openings. Obviously, for a Protoss player in the early game, any hole's usually a goal. Gets 2 creep tumors, which is kind of worth it. You know, not bad. Forces the queens to respread it at least. Slows down the creep a little bit. Twilight Council to 2 gates coming down. 3rd and 4th gas as well. Now, this is 4 gates before going... Yeah, okay. I was like, this is a pretty early 4 gate. This doesn't seem like a normal macro build, and indeed it isn't. He's delayed his gases a lot. He gets 1, drone does MAXPAX. He's going 4 gate glaives behind this, guys. And definitely the power to catch Serral off guard. Serral's going +1 melee. which often isn't ready in time for glaives. And this time it looks like it'll finish soon afterwards, so it actually might be. So Lings and Queens can defend Adepts. Big enough numbers of Adepts, it won't work, but only 4 gate glaives? Yeah, you can definitely defend that. I like that he hit his gateways down here as well. Forge going down, he's going to have progression behind it. It's not like it's an all-in or anything. But there's no Roach Warren yet. And I was going to say, is he going to build his Roach Warren in the wall? Because his Evo is not in the wall, which means he'd have to build 2 Evo chambers if he wants to wall off his natural, which is Serral's favorite way of defending. A couple of Adepts coming out here. He's just going to force a few more Zerglings. I like the way MAXPAX does this pressure to kind of be like, oh, look, here's a small pressure. I'm just, seeing what I can do. That main base does look a little bit bare, and that might tick SERRAL off that something weird is happening. Like, sometimes it's not just, seeing the specific signs of aggression. Sometimes it's the other things. And there we go. He sees the Adepts coming. Okay, this is very nice. MAXPAX will just pull 2 probes. They do beat a Zergling that's already wounded in a fight like that. 10 Adepts coming out. A second Forge is on the way. He's just going to go double Forge Blink. MAXPAX loves those upgrades. And upgrades are really important and underrated, guys. Double Forge, man, I had a few years where I was only playing Double Forge Immortal Archon Zealot. Every game is a very fun style. This is a much more solid one for MAXPAX. He's just going to dive in and take the fight. Doesn't feel like that many Adepts, though. Let's see. They are fighting okay versus the Zerglings. These Adepts, not so much, though. They're going to need to go around and come back in. The Oracles are low on energy. Looks like that Shade gets cancelled. Lings come in on that base. They managed to kill a Stalker. No probes going down, though. So far, guys, units lost tab looking a-okay for SERRAL, only losing 3 drones, and he's got a 4th hatchery up, remember, so he can bounce back very quickly. Correcting the mistakes of the former game, Roach Speed is already started, and he's already got +2 melee and +1 range as well. So SERRAL is rearing and ready to go. 1-1's on the way for Protoss, but is actually still behind in those upgrades, one could argue. That being said, there is a very quick 4th base on the way. I wonder, though, seeing that quick 4th, does SERRAL feel confident just going 80 drones? Because I feel like if you've seen a 4th, you've defended some Glaive Adept pressure, you should feel a little ahead. And one of the best things pro players do compared to your average run-of-the-mill, amateur, or even some of the mid-GM players sometimes struggle with this, where they win a fight and then they just keep playing completely standard. SERRAL realizes, I've crushed a Glaive Adept timing. Like, I didn't take any damage. Yeah, 5th base, Infestation Pit, and going to almost 80 workers. This is exactly what you do. You can push your greed a little bit further, because what is greedy changes relative to how strong your opponent's position is. And he realizes, well, my normal safe marker may be 72 drones at this point. I've crushed a Glaive Adept timing. I'm a little ahead. Let's go 77 drones. It's those little adjustments that are going to give you peak StarCraft play. Now, he's going to clear that Watchtower because he knows that Stalkers are going to go there. He does lose a Zergling. Very sloppy for SERRAL. 1 Zergling dies to the rocks. Adepts are going to move down the right side. They're going to try and shade in this mineral line while the Stalkers move up the left. But getting rid of the Watchtower, really beautiful timing on that. Denying MAXPAX's Oracle Stalker push angle. He's only gone 2 Oracle this game. 4th base is up, 74 pros versus 76 drones. SERRAL has got bailing speed, +2 melee, +1 range, all coming in the next 40 seconds. I don't think he wants to have a big fight just yet. He's going to take a stasis trap and then pull back. Adepts coming in from that right side. SERRAL a little slow to get on top of them, but I think he's okay with those Lings coming back. Stalkers cleaning up some creep tumors. Adepts are going to take out 3 drones, make it 4, make it 5. Very nice play here by MAXPAX. Even gets a 6th one. That is some very crisp micro robo bays on the way. MAXPAX is not just going to mass Stalkers and Zealots all game long. He will add that single robo disruptor that he's known for in PvT and PvZ. Stalkers started stepping back very nicely. The Oracles are low on juice. Remember, guys, if you turn your Oracles on, it takes 25 energy just to activate. If they're only at 30, 35 energy, they'll turn the laser on, run out of the ability to shoot within 3 or 4 seconds. It's a complete waste. So MAXPAX is very disciplined. He realizes in this period, I can be a bit more passive with the Stalkers, don't force the fights, be chill. And as they get up to 60, 70, 80 energy, it's more viable to use that laser beam to take out those incoming Zerglings. 2 Spine Crawlers going down, actually making the Shade path a little more difficult, but SERRAL did not properly run away, and these Adepts are doing damage. Oh my god, SERRAL, careful, mate. He goes back to mine, loses 5 drones. Luckily, though, the Queen squad in the main, SERRAL is the #1 Prism Shutter Router of all. He is the best player at stopping that Prism from being a bag of Zerg, or a bag of Protoss, sorry, in the main base. Second Robo's on the way. We've got an extra gas, so he's going to go to 6 gases. Double Robo Disruptor in the follow-up. 2-2 upgrades on the way for MAXPAX. Right now, it's 1-1 versus 2-1 for the Zerg. SERRAL has better upgrades. Stasis traps are going to save the day. Very nice stasis traps. And if you can catch some of those units as they come out of the stasis, that's great. Now, he's staying active on the right side of the map, but Lingbane Roach is ready. MAXPAX says, I know you got a Prism over there. And I'm going to leave a squad on this side of the map. That does mean SERRAL maybe is a little light on units on this side. Disruptor on. Oh, you can time a Disruptor to get the Banelings as they pop, but he's backing away. He's afraid right now. And very, very passive play here by MAXPAX. And SERRAL comes in. Only gets 4 probes, not too bad. Looks like 2 drones had gone down earlier than that. 89 workers versus 83 in SERRAL's favor. SERRAL is not forgetting adrenal glands this time either. We're getting to see his style in full swing. That one red hit point Stalker does survive. The Oracles are pretty low on energy, but man, look at this vision as well. There's Overlords all along the edges of the map. Guys, you can tell that SERRAL has said, if I'm up against a guy who doesn't have Phoenix, I will make sure I see those prisms wherever they are. So many players would put one Overlord out here, one Overlord here, and leave it at that. SERRAL has Overlords literally everywhere. And I mean, MAXPAX isn't even dealing with it because he's so busy dealing with the army. SERRAL's vision allowing him to react to those prisms ahead of time. Recall's going to come in. Oh god, the probes! Baneling's in the mineral line. That Baneling down the bottom gets a boom boom. And that is a dead mineral line. Stalkers come in, but they're in big trouble. These Stalkers get surrounded on the front as well. SERRAL has just ransacked this nerd, man. Oh, this is not good for MAXPAX right now. Those probes need to get out of there. Those probes need to get out of there. Another big disruptor shot could come in and gets 5 Banelings, which is not bad, but that mineral line is absolutely gone. SERRAL springs into vicious action with those multi-prong attacks very nicely. Zealots coming in from that right side. Gonna go after the Spine Crawler. Zerglings are gonna try and get the surround on those bad boys. They're gonna try and pull back right now. Prism does save 4 of them, but look at this, man. It looked like they were both getting spread across the map. Massive economies, massive upgrades. Archons and Disruptors were coming in. MAXPAX was about to scale to a point where SERRAL would need Lurkers or something. Imagine, guys, if he still had that 5th base up and 80 probes. This is game over. SERRAL would be dead. I guarantee you, Ravagerling Bane cannot trade well enough against Mass Archon and Disruptor getting added to the Stalkers. But SERRAL, 1 minute before it hits this point in the game, maybe less, 30 seconds to a minute, takes out the whole 5th base, every probe on it, all the probes on the 4th, and says, oh, hey, buddy, I'm way ahead now. Have fun. MAXPAX needs to transfer some probes over here. The mass Baneling Roach army on that right side. Oh, no, MAXPAX is out of position. This is a disaster. This is a big problem. Luckily for him, that base on the right doesn't have many probes that he needs to defend. The problem is that his Disruptors are kind of separated. SERRAL staying here is very dangerous, though. SERRAL might be overcommitting. He might be overcommitting. Oh, my God, the Baneling's just going to go boom, boom. Oh my god, the Banelings just headbutt into everything. SERRAL taking some kind of nasty trades there, but he finds the worker line at the end as well as killing a lot of the units. And I think that's a good enough trade for Mr. 90 drones. MAXPAX is now all in. He has to go for the counterattack right now. He's going to build probes, and if I were him, I would cancel +3 and do nothing but warp in Archons and go for the aggression. But he's actually going to try to counter pressure while rebuilding that economy. A wild choice for MAXPAX, because look at how quick SERRAL remaxes. He doesn't have as many Banelings anymore. He does need to focus down those Archons as quickly as possible. There's still 2 Disruptors in the back as well, remember. Massling on the left side. Zealots form a Phalanx in the mineral line, but oh no! There must have been a hunchback Zealot that let the, he told the dirty Zerg how to get through the canyon pass overlooking that. And those 300 Zealots might be going down. The Stalker's trying to pull back. There's not enough Protoss. We cannot hold! We cannot hold! There's too much Zerg, man. Way too much Zerg on the dance floor, and SERRAL, hats off to him for finding that opening right when he did. That game was about to turn viciously in MAXPAX's favor, and he finds a way to finish him off. All right, guys, MAXPAX in the bottom left side, and unfortunately losing that game, man. If he just had that watchtower on the right side when SERRAL split his army up, I do think this one would be in the bag for him, because he was having fantastic progression in terms of his army. He hadn't really lost any units. He'd preserved his Stalker count. His Oracles were up. Disruptors and Archons were coming in. But SERRAL finds a way to get in and do the damage. Now, this time, SERRAL's going for a 16 hatch. I think he's kind of going, oh, you know, good chance that MAXPAX doesn't block the base this time. Oh, and he sends the drone down on 17. Okay, SERRAL, what is this? 17 hatch is not great, mate. What are we up to, dude? He's going to go pool first. Okay, so yeah, I was like, he's going to go pool first. And he's going to try to get his expansion. Okay, yeah. Okay, so he sees the probe coming. He's going to loop around this side and go for that natural. I don't know if he gets it. If MAXPAX goes straight back there, he doesn't actually have the money. MAXPAX, does he see the drone? I don't think so. MAXPAX is like, am I getting proxy hatch? What's happening? Oh god, am I getting 12 pulled? Okay, that's the thing is MAXPAX has to scout the main. So SERRAL gets his hatchery on time for a pool hatch build, and that's a solid opening. So he drops the gas right after. Very well done. Finally, MAXPAX confirms the hatchery location and is able to just continue doing his normal build at home. I don't think this is too bad for either side, but well done by SERRAL to get his base on location. I think he really is prioritizing that, saying, hey, if I have to take my third, it's just way more annoying, and I love that he's going for that. Notice minerals is the priority, only rallying onto gas is SERRAL. So he's actually very much focused on the economic growth, and with the pool first, that's pretty key. A lot of people, they go pool first, and then they end up pulling off minerals onto gas as well, and their whole build ends up just slowing down a bit too much. Nice wall off for MAXPAX. If he gets all in, he can just build another gateway there, easy peasy. Second pylon, that's a Stargate pylon if I've ever seen one, guys. Same thing we talked about in that last game. But definitely shouldn't be giving that information away, right? I think that's a problem. If you're going to fake the warp gate, actually go for it. And, well, you know, does kind of feel like a Twilight build, doesn't it? He is famous for his Twilight builds. Doesn't really seem to have enough gas. Wait, was this Cybercore before Nexus? I didn't think it was yet. He's double chronoing his Adepts. He's trying to hunt down these Zerglings. Oh, hello. He lets the Zergling in, though. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's real unfortunate. Zergling and the Overlord in the base. SERRAL says, no secrets from me, mate. MAXPAX says, yeah, okay, fine. And that Zergling's a SERRAL Zergling. Oh, he gets it with the probes. That's good. It allows the Adept to join up on the other side of the map. The faster you get 2 Adepts across the map, the more you can punish this delayed link speed. Isn't going to be ready for about 45-50 seconds. Oh, damn. SERRAL messes up on his Spore Trick there. It does get that one down just barely in time. But look at that. MAXPAX gets a drone, forces a Spore Trick, gets a Zergling before getting picked off. Still not a bad trade. Overlord is still poking around. The Stargate did end up starting on this natural expand. Overlord's just going to poke in and confirm what's going on. New Adept does arrive. Could get that creep tumor if he wants to, but with the Zerglings there, it's a little risky. Yeah, he's not going to get that. Get out of there. You don't want to waste too many hit points on these Adepts. Remember, you need to use those to defend your third base in the future as well. Definitely, Stargate was not the earliest in this game, but that's a-okay. He's going to be looking for that third base in the near future. Probes are on the way. Double Overlord building for SERRAL. No supply blocks for the GOAT. Thank you very much, everyone, for the love. Tip links don't work in the iOS app. Can you guys please send that to... Can you add Dot in the chat and let her know when she's around? I'll try to sort that out if possible, but I don't think we really can. Don't know why a link would not work in your iOS app, mate. Sorry. I'll talk about that later. Thank you so much for the support, mate. Here we go. Zergling's moving down that right side. Please remind me of those questions and that comment after the game if you can, so I can deal with it. Overlord's going to go down. Very nice. That's a lot of Zerglings. Not enough to get a cancel, though. Not if the Oracle's here, guys. Oh my god, we're going to be getting a bit of a surround on 2 of these Adepts, but 2 of them get to the choke point. And with the Oracle as well, he's going to get a single Adept for like 10 Zerglings. That's a very good trade, I would say, for MAXPAX. That feels pretty damn nice. Isn't Carapace a good upgrade? Shouldn't SERRAL be making Carapace in these games? Absolutely not. Protoss players do a ton of damage, and Carapace doesn't change many of those interactions. Arguably, in Zergling versus Zealot, if you can have equal Carapace to their attack upgrades, then it will cancel out their ability to go from 3-shotting Zerglings to 2-shotting them. Problem is, in actuality, the Protoss is almost always ahead on those upgrades, especially with Chrono Boost. So trying to catch up on Carapace and always being 1 upgrade behind basically means you're investing into a dead end. It's not going to stop Disruptor shots. It's not going to stop Storm. It's not going to do anything impactful against a gigantic Archon hit. And it's kind of hard to even limit the number of Stalker shots because Stalkers are always overkilling on Zerglings and Banelings every time they shoot a volley anyway. So Carapace is meaningless in most scenarios up against Stalkers. Whereas attack upgrades are always going to just incrementally allow you to kill things faster with those small, fast-hitting, low-damage units. And melee upgrades especially incredibly powerful for Zerglings. Whereas if you're fighting Marines, Carapace upgrades are actually very important because they do low damage. Knocking 1 damage off each Marine shot is very, very important. Alright, Dep's going to pull back. We got the Oracles pulling to the south as well. +1 range and roach speed. Is SERRAL going to play Lurker, just straight Lurker this game? I think we might see a very quick infestation pit, guys. MAXPAX is going for a bit more of an aggressive play himself. He's got 10 Stalkers and Blink Up. I mean, he's only now got his forge up. His fourth base is... Okay, I said aggressive play. Maybe it's a safer play. Because he's decided to go for this very quick fourth base just past the 6-minute mark. As I said, a quick infestation pit for SERRAL is highly likely. You might be wondering, why would you build it there? The reason is because hallucinations and oracles will fly in around the back. They'll scout any tech here. They'll be able to scout tech up here. But in the central area, that's the most dangerous spot for an oracle to fly. It'll get spotted and killed by queens before it gets there. So he's trying to hide that. He's going to go straight for Hive, Hydra Den, Lurker Den, and go for that Roach, Hydra, Lurker, Viper style. Here we go, guys. Stalker's going to be going in and starting to damage these units as much as possible, but he's got to be cautious because actually the link count's not very high, right? Roach speed's not done yet either. I'm kind of surprised he's not splitting more links forward to set off the stasis traps. There we go. Sets off one of them. Roach speed not quite done. SERRAL, if he could take a 3-1 lead here, it's dominating. It's a near impossible comeback, but MAXPAX seems to be taking the better end just by speeding up his Stalker blink here. He's still got a quick fourth. He's still adding a forge and even a second forge behind it, but he's getting very good trades. He's just got to be careful not to overcommit. Now that Roach speed's done, he's losing a lot of Stalkers. 3 go down, make it 4. Oh god, SERRAL with some good micro. 4 Stalkers go down. Still a positive trade for MAXPAX, but you see how quickly an amazing trade turns to an almost even one, just with a couple of Stalkers going down. So, obviously a couple technically means 2, so technically 2 couples. A couple of couples. Stalker's picking off some more lings. That hatchery's dangerously low. SERRAL has to fight. He can't sit back, man. He has to fight, but he's going Hive and Lurker Den right now. He's trying to get +1 melee. He is not quite there just yet. He tried to change up styles, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Might be his attitude if this does not work out, and we might just see him return to mass upgraded Ling in the next game because these Stalkers are relentless, man, and Roaches with Roach speed, as good as they are, they struggle to get on top of that. The stasis traps are so irritating right now. Queens are getting hammered back. The hatchery only has 200 hit points. SERRAL cannot give up that hatchery, but if he goes forward and fights it, he loses the hatchery anyway. He's got to pull back. He's going to try and take a hatchery on the other side. He just created a control camera location over there, I would believe. You can see he immediately, his camera panned over, built a drone on that hatchery on that base. So SERRAL's going to try and macro up on 3 base. Lurkers are a great comeback unit, but he doesn't have the Lurker upgrades just yet or any Hydras on the map. 4 Hydras and a Lurker upgrade for range starts up behind this. 5th base is on the way. Charge +2 attack and +1 armor being chrono boosted. MAXPAX is up 9 workers, or 11 workers in this game, sorry. Zealots moving down the right side as well. SERRAL's got a big pack of units to deal with that. As long as you don't get surrounded, you just pull away as MAXPAX. Don't throw the Zealots away and you'll be fine. He knows the Zealots were spotted, so he knows the SERRAL, being a good player, will move units there. But he says, well, if I come in later, he might be out of position. So he'll poke in after a bit of a delay, see the units, and immediately run away. Come in, see the units, watch them fight and turn around and run away. Stalkers and Oracles pushing up the guts once again. That base on the left is looking exposed. Zealots starting to warp in. This is 29 Stalkers with 1-1 upgrades. The first Lurkers are starting to morph here. And you know what? There is a Robo, guys. There is a Robo Bay on the way, a 5th gas. MAXPAX is relentless with the Stalkers, just trying to get whatever trades he can. Cancels that base on the left with some Zealots. He's ready to go in the back with some Zealots. Zealots running in the front on the right side. Plenty of Roaches to deal with that. MAXPAX is microing it very well, though, pulling them back, not committing to bad fights. A couple of Lurkers that were morphing do get cancelled by those Stalkers. One good wave of Lurker Spines pushing back these Stalkers. Very nice defense right now for SERRAL. Can he maintain, though? He's down 14 workers. Lurkers are a good unit for surviving, but do they do anything else? The Warp Prism did pull back on that north side. Looks like the Queens pushed it back. SERRAL, the Warp Prism herder, continues his reign of not letting Warp Prisms do full warp-ins in his base, literally ever. Cannons, batteries, Stargates, and Fleet Beacons on the way for MAXPAX. I'd be a little wary of going too hard into Skytoss. I think getting a few carriers is a huge problem for SERRAL. But I think as MAXPAX, you want to also use that to force a lot more technical units out of SERRAL and then actually find the damage with Zealot run-bys, with, you know, big Warp Prism warp-ins in the main, because it's force him to build an even less mobile army, invest in Infestors and Broodlords and Corruptors, things that don't deal with multi-prong, and that's when the Zealots find the big damage. Zealots do clean a queen up in the wall, going in on this 3rd base as well. SERRAL's going to pull back with his Roach Lurker. He's got some Roach Lurker on the right side as well, ready to do what they can. Zealots aren't going to find that much damage. Perfectly placed Spine Crawler, guys. Notice that Spine Crawler, the Zealots automatically try to attack it. They get stuck in the choke point. They get cleaned up. All right, guys. I feel like MAXPAX is far in the lead. He's going to go Tempests first to try to outrange the Lurkers and pick them off. There's an ongoing discussion in chat about, is Carapace really worthless? It's not worthless. It's just not worth as much as the other upgrades, because Carapace is always going to help in some interactions, but it's just not worth getting a third Evo chamber for, that's all. Secret Gold Base gets shut down. Zealot's going in on the Roach Hydra right now. Oh! Oh, big ball lands on SERRAL, but SERRAL punishes by snapping those balls in half. MAXPAX holding his crotch in pain, but he's got a Zealot run by on the right side. That Lurker looks like it is out of range. He's going to have to move those Lurkers back. 5th base will go down right now. 6th base, sorry. It's only his 6th base. Oh no, MAXPAX! MAXPAX goes forward on move command. A big mistake for him. His Zealots are ransacking the economy of SERRAL. No, they're not. They've only killed 4 drones. They're causing a ruckus in the back, but they haven't actually done that much damage. MAXPAX with a misclick, a move command through the enemy army. That was a big mistake. He's now got a few carriers, +1 air weapons on the way. He does have his 2-2 about to kick in. Templar Archives as well, but I mean, come on, man. SERRAL is dead in the water on 66 drones. He's got Jackal economy. He's got no air transition. He's trying to make Hydras, which don't even have grooved spines, as his makeshift anti-air. It doesn't even have Vipers on the map. But if he can take out this base, he might be able to find his way back in it. The Observer does survive for now. Big Zealot Warping on the left side, helping out. The cannons provide a bit of detection. And he's going to need to siege this down with Tempest. I think MAXPAX can keep this base alive. Lurkers try to do a big run by on the right side. The cannons and the oracles will take that bad boy out. Those 3 Lurkers are going to have to back off. The Tempests are still sieging here. I wouldn't mind SERRAL getting in and focusing a few more probes down, but the longer he stands on the edge of range, the more troublesome this is. There's only one Observer here from MAXPAX. MAXPAX has a Lurker in the mineral line. Oh my god. How is SERRAL still in this game? How is he making this so hard for MAXPAX right now? MAXPAX has so much more money, but it feels like now he's still got a lot of Stalkers in his army that just suck versus Lurkers in head-to-head. He's getting 3 carriers built at a time, though. And, of course, SERRAL is on Hydras and now 4 Vipers. Zealot Run By comes in, cleans up a few of these Hydra lists, but does get cleaned up. There's still no Groove Spines. There we go. Okay, Groove Spines is almost finished. SERRAL's upgrading it. Now, Hydra Viper. What is Hydra Viper? How do we explain this for the rookies in the chat? Hydra Viper is countering... it's countering your opponent's shotgun with a knife. It can technically work, but you need to sneak up on them. You need to sneak up on them and slit their throat before they get a chance to do anything, essentially. So, the Hydras do really well versus 2 or 3 carriers, especially if you can abduct them. You just kill them. That's great, right? You can gun down the Interceptors when there's just a few carriers. Once they hit 6, 7, or 8 carriers, somewhere around that count, especially with +2 air weapons, which unfortunately has not started yet for MAXPAX, suddenly Hydras become much worse. Also, if there's feedback in the army to deny those Vipers. But right now, there's 4 Vipers gathering energy. They are all doing it off one building. Don't do this at home, guys. Always spread it across different buildings. He's going to kill his own extractor there as well. He's obviously just multitasking like mad and not taking the time to spread it out. It is what it is. Pro gamers make this mistake all the time. He stops actually manually, I believe, just before it finished. Still, we do have +2 air weapons, Psystorm, Plasma Shields, +3 ground attack. I mean, it's a great army. He's got 2 High Templar in the mix, but 2 High Templar did not have enough energy to feed back 4 Vipers. There's still a lot of opportunities here for SERRAL to find damage. SERRAL has 2 Lurkers. He's still only on a 65 drone economy. He needs to find massive crippling damage very soon and hopefully abduct a bunch of those carriers. Notice he splits most of his army, goes to the right. He just leaves 5 Lurkers, a few Hydras and Lings here. Get out of there, SERRAL. SERRAL's not watching. He doesn't see the recall. He doesn't see the recall. Oh god, he's got to get out. Get out of there. Stays a little bit too long, does lose a few of those units, but a quick retreat, once he does notice, gets him out of the worst possible losses. It's now up to 6 carriers, guys. Mama has just arrived as well. Now, you might be wondering, who's Mama? This is Big Mama's house. This is Big Protoss Mama's house, and she's going to put you in timeout if you don't watch out. That is actually one of her abilities, timeout, guys. It's called timeout, definitely, and it does slow units' attack and movement speed by 50% in a giant bubble. It takes a lot of time to kick in. Her main factor is more so the fact that she cloaks everything nearby, and she can recall. So you can use her to go around the edge of the map, which she's queuing up now, and then recall your whole army into the enemy base. Here we go! Archon Tempest Disruptor going forward. Abducts on the carriers. They're getting hammered. SERRAL avoids the Disruptors. No Psystorms have landed. SERRAL manages to kill 2 carriers and blitz through the front line of this army. But remember, MAXPAX has a lot of money. He can rebuild the Interceptors. He's got Psystorm. He's got Archons. He's got a much stronger army in the long term. It's just amazing that SERRAL's getting any damage. He finds this base on the gold as well. Takes that one out. SERRAL is working with a low-tier army. He is the man with a knife, and so far he has stabbed the man with the shotgun a few times. None of them are fatal blows. They're just flesh wounds. You know, he's bleeding a little bit as MAXPAX, but he's got to find a way to stop this. He's got to deal with this home intruder. He's got to finish loading that shotgun. One good shot to the body and SERRAL's out of this game. But SERRAL is making a match of it like a bloody beast he is. He's killing 19 workers. He's on top of this base. The robo base going down. He's got a force on the left side, slowly sieging. There's enough cannons to buy a lot of time on the left. MAXPAX economy is dropping though. MAXPAX is in huge trouble right now. He has to shut this army down. The problem for SERRAL is he has no remax capability and he only has 5 lurkers. So he needs to get enough lurkers to kill all the High Templar and disruptors because those units hard counter the Hydras. He doesn't have a transition. You might be wondering, why isn't he going Spire? He can't. If SERRAL doesn't have enough units, a critical mass, he just gets A-moved in the battle. So he's got to invest in just pure Hydra Lurker Viper, try to abduct the carriers, try to kill the ground army with the lurkers. He can definitely do it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really hard ask because MAXPAX was so far ahead. And even though MAXPAX's economy now sucks, and a lot of people go, but his economy sucks, Pig. He's dying. He's losing. He has less workers. You guys have to think about the fact there is 130 army supply of the most elite Protoss units out here. This is not an easy situation. There's also no carapace upgrades just yet. It finally kicks in the first one. Mama gets abducted, but Psystorms do go down. That's the timeout on those Hydras. Disruptor takes out 2 of them. Hydras do take Mama out. They kick her off the side of this map. The carriers are still coming in. There's more disruptors there. It looks like the Vipers had to fall back. 2 of the Vipers died. There's only 2 left. There's still so many carriers up and only a handful of Hydras. And that's about how those battles normally go. SERRAL making a match of it, digging for mistakes and showing his pedigree. But MAXPAX says, come on, mate. I'm not dropping the ball on this one. Well, I am dropping the ball, but it's the disruptor ball and it's on the face of your Hydralisks. GG, well played. MAXPAX tying up the series. All right, down here in the bottom right side, guys, we got MAXPAX going into game number 5. Babylon, a small map. And SERRAL appears to be doing a 15 hatch 15 pool again. MAXPAX is always going for the block, so I think SERRAL's just decided, hey, this is my best solid opening right now. And he's been practicing it for a few weeks, so hats off to him for really getting this build order down. I wonder if the Koreans are going to follow suit, you know, after watching these games. You know, knowing the Korean players like Dark and stuff, it won't be until after SERRAL wins ESL Masters in Sweden. And then we'll see, like, the whole Zerg player base swap to this opening. That's kind of cool, man. Alright, what do we got? Nexus goes down before core, so no core before Nexus, quick double adept pressure. And I think it makes sense. I mean, what are you going to get done? The queens are out so early with this build, even though link speed's usually a little later. It's tough to get in there with 2 queens at the front, ready to greet you so early. Probes are going to pull back, second gas goes down. Second pylon, is he going to build it in the standard spot over here? It does give maximum production space. So as much as I make fun of you advertising your Stargate to SERRAL's Overlord, I do like that it gives massive production space and it spots for some popular drop and Nidus locations. So it does have extra benefits. Double Queen, how early did they start this game, guys? Looks like 52. I think SERRAL was about 1 or 2 seconds late on those queens compared to what we've seen him do. In some games, I've seen him get him right on like 149. It's not the end of the world, but just a very slight, you know, optimization that's maybe missing from the build. This Overlord's going to pop right on time, perfectly timed. And I believe he's going to go for that 30 hatch again, right? You know, I think he's going to go creep on the natural again. Yeah, so SERRAL, yeah, I think he just likes this creep on the natural. That allows me to get the 3rd base up. I always did it the other way around. I always do double inject and then spread creep and just saturate this base. And I take this 3rd about 30 seconds later. Problem is he's playing MAXPAX. MAXPAX is very, very good, and he might send an adept to block your 3rd and like pylon block it if you don't get it down fast enough. So if you're already going for a 3rd at like 320, 310, and then it gets delayed even more, it's really going to hurt your build order and your flexibility. So I like that SERRAL's found this like balanced way of doing it. And even though you can see he is floating a bit of lava at this point, and that's the big concern. When I was talking to SERRAL about this opening, he said, you know, it's all about the amount of time that your lava is floating. Because even though you have a lot more lava with this build with the earlier queens and the earlier hatchery on the natural, do you actually have the money to spend it is the concern. And he says, look, if you're going ling speed, if you're going the 3rd base, no, not really. It ends up pretty similar to a 16 hatch. The difference is your expansion's where you want it to be. You got it down before that probe could block, and therefore it is worth it. So I love his analysis of this. He seemed to be very thorough. And look at this pylon timing, guys. MAXPAX is technically on 46 supply blocked, but he loses 2 seconds of probe production time before the pylon finishes. So that's a perfectly timed, almost not a supply block, basically. Oracle's going to come out. He loves the straight line third base, does MAXPAX. Now, does SERRAL risk a Queen Walk? Does he go Roach Hydra Lurker like in that last game? It gave MAXPAX a lot of trouble. The problem is the early game. Defending the initial Blink Stalker pressure with just a ton of Roaches, it's not as good as defending with the heavy Zergling army. He wasn't able to get in and cancel the fourth base like in map 1 or anything like that. Oh, get out of there, MAXPAX. No, MAXPAX goes a little deep, leaves his laser on a little bit too long. Spore going up in the main and the natural, none in the third just yet. Mass drones coming on out. Meanwhile, MAXPAX looks like a 4 adept pressure, but a more normal third and fourth gas. Remember last game he went for a very quick 5-gate blink. Delayed his... actually, he delayed the gases when he went glaive adept, wasn't it? Whereas last game he still got the gases on time, but he went 5-gate glaive, delayed his forges, and did go for that still very quick fourth. Oh, I thought he missed that one with the revelation, but he did get it. Depths are just going to click the creep tumor and pull back from there. Overlord comes in, sees that third Oracle is building. The Adepts cancel their shade. And the Evo Chamber's on the way. SERRAL's going back to business as usual, guys. +1 melee. And he'll build a Roach Warren here. So he can wall off with an Evo if it's Glaive Adepts. He's always prepared. Though we know, of course, that it's not. He just clicks the Lings on one of those Adepts so that they don't go in. And oh, Oracles get a nice rotate. 3 drone kills. Very nicely done. MAXPAX finally finds that damage that he's been looking for so long. He did already force 16 Zerglings out, so you might be wondering, how is he still ahead in workers? Well, doing that Adept Oracle pressure forces a response, and at the higher levels you get in play, direct damage isn't always the goal of harassment. It's force your opponent to make a lot of defensive units. Hey, he's made units, not drones. Awesome. I'm ahead in workers now. As long as I don't throw these units away, he's stuck with a big pack of Zerglings that don't really have a function right now, and our economies are actually even. So this is kind of exerting pressure without overcommitting. Very excellently done by MAXPAX. He's also slowing this creep down in the middle, but my god, that creep is very annoying. He's like, god damn, man, why is there so much creep everywhere? It's ridiculous. Cancels the shade. Baneling Nest! Baneling Nest, oh my lordy lord. SERRAL? Baneling Nest? What? He's gonna go Massling Bane. Okie doke, man. I mean, the scary thing is if they go for like an Archon push or something like that, or they surprise you with like Zealot Archon, you're like, oh god, I can't deal with it, but it's just going to be double Forge Blink, and I mean, MAXPAX has been kind of predictable on doing this every game, even off different openings, it always goes double Forge Blink. He believes this is the most solid style and that he can outplay SERRAL. I love the confidence from MAXPAX, I really do. Lair is finished. Baneling Nest, not quite there, but +2 melee, Bane speed. What, Hydra Bane? Hydra Bane? Oh my lord. Okay, I haven't seen Hydra Bane in a little bit. Because MAXPAX hasn't been opening Psystorm, this could be really good. Storm is very good at defending Hydra Bane. You can't really attack into it, but you can hold your 4 and 5 bases very well with some of those units. And Zerglings there are going to be pulling back. I think realizing it's Hydra Bane is very important. He hasn't seen the Baneling Nest, hasn't seen the Hydra Den, but he's also seen a lot of Zerglings. So he knows it's a heavy Zergling opening, but this usually goes into Ravager Bane. Now, problem with Hydras, they kick in much later, they're way more expensive. The advantage is they have more range by 2 on a Roach, and they do way more damage. They shoot faster, significantly, like 2 times faster than a Roach, even though they do a little less damage per hit. So they do a lot more damage. They're smaller, so they can clump up and really have that, you know, concentrated damage output a bit better. SERRAL with the Evo Chamber says, get wrecked, nerd, and only loses a single drone. Really well played. Stalkers and Oracles coming through the south as well. The Oracle's going to put down some stasis traps. That Queen gets stuck out there. A bit of a mistake for SERRAL. Watch out for the stasis trap. Not like that. He realizes he's about to run into his stasis. He backs off. And he's got a Ling run by on the north. 1 cannon, 1 battery. Pretty well placed there. Should be okay, as long as he can defend it. But I think SERRAL might wait for some Banelings for that run by. Lings finally intercept this. MAXPAX is getting good trades. You got to be careful. You've lost 1,000 resources for almost nothing in return. The Hydras are finally spotted. And here we go. Stalker's doing some good blink backs. The Oracle's pulling back as well. Oracles aren't able to rain down death on this army without getting shot down. So you need to micro those Oracles backwards as well. Oh my god, it's a lot of Zerglings, man. The Oracles are almost out of juice, guys. They all turn off except 1, and that one turns off as well. A lot of these Stalkers do go down. I say a lot. 4, 3 actually only. But still a decent bit of damage for SERRAL, who... less than 2-to-1 efficiency in the trading, but he's got Groove Spines coming in. +2 melee is almost there. And for MAXPAX, he's going to go Robo Bay. So it's going to be Disruptors added in. He's going for a bit of Zealot pressure. Ooh, it's a bit too many Zealots he warped in there. He'll try to trade okay in the mineral line. Still not a good trade for him. Very well done by MAXPAX cleaning that up. Now, I do feel keeping the creep back is essential. But on the other hand, you need to make sure you don't just get overwhelmed and killed. And he's only on 4 gas. He's only got a single Robo plus a Robo Bay. it still feels like MAXPAX's goal here is defending with just mass Stalker, and that can work. But it's all about the positioning. He's outnumbered here quite significantly. Oracles are low on juice. Remember that. Laser juice is out, guys. One of them turns on and kills a few Zerglings. Great blinkbacks by MAXPAX. His Prism in the top being defended. Can you believe it, guys? SERRAL shutting down a Warp Prism. Almost like he's done so consistently this whole series long. Crashing in with the Hydraling Bane. Groove Spines might not be here. Neither +2 melee. But he says, I don't even need it. Those probes need to get out. But actually, MAXPAX holds his ground. He confidently hangs on to this position and continues to push forward into these Banelings, Hydras, and Zerglings. 3 probes are all that's gone down. MAXPAX is trading really well. He's on Mass Stalker. He's actually going to build a Colossus. Not a bad idea. Does not have Viagra on the way just yet for that Colossus, but will be coming in the near future. Stalkers and Oracles going to do what they can. Banelings on the north. This could be a game winner. There's a few Zealots, 2 cannons to greet it, but look, he's got his attention on the south. MAXPAX needs to watch the top here, but he's so focused on defending, and his Zealots actually go across. Oh, no, no, no. He does notice. He whops in some Stalkers. They blow up those Stalkers. They're going to go after these probes. Great defense by MAXPAX, but he's been ransacked on the south. He loses that base and that mineral line at the same time. The Stalkers are still retreating, taking the best defensive fight they can. The problem is, they're not able to hold their ground against the Hydra Bane, and that is where the problem lies. SERRAL was only on 72 drones. His Infestation and his Roach Horn are both incredibly late to transition. However, he's found the damage. Much like in that game on altitude, it's that point in the game you give MAXPAX another 30 seconds to a minute, he is going to get out of control. But SERRAL, where many Zergs would go to 85 drones to have a bit more economy, he says, no, 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 I've got to build army now. I need to go attack with that army, trade at the correct time, wreck your economy, and then I can think about the next step. Hive, extra hatchery, all this stuff is on the way. Yeah, I lost my 5th, I don't care. You know, I got you down to 50 probes. Even though you've got 4 bases up, 50 probes is not enough here, and MAXPAX definitely struggling. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, you know, how does this look so strong, this Hydra Bane? What counters it? Well, double upgrades is just not that important. The double upgrades really becomes powerful now when 2-2 is kicked in, and then 2-3, 3-2. But he's already found the window before those upgrades kick in. That's what's so vital. Colossus, amazing versus this. Sentries, god tier against this style, right? But he doesn't open up with Sentry Colossus ever. And that is a style which kind of counters SERRAL's. If you go for a good base of like 5-6 Sentries, gathering energy early, then you go into the Colossus and the Stalkers, that is just going to split this army to pieces, rip it apart. But he did not have any of those tools. So I love the way SERRAL here is not just playing the same thing every game. MAXPAX is. But SERRAL is evolving and progressing. He changed his opening up to a pool first in one of those previous games. Now he played a Roach Hydra Lurker game. Now he's playing Hydra Bane. It's the flexibility that is giving problems to MAXPAX. MAXPAX wants to play pretty much slight variations of the same thing every game. And it's SERRAL who seems to be one step ahead in terms of just that range and variety. 2018 SERRAL did not have this range. He was just the best at doing his thing and his thing alone. Now he bends himself and shapes himself around his opponent's weaknesses, and he does it so damn well. Mass Baneling. Attacking into that on creep is not really a good idea, but I also have to wonder what else MAXPAX can do. I feel like it's just going to be a big arc on Colossus Stalker timing. He does have the extended Thermal Lance, giving the extra inches on the Colossus Thick Beam. And it's just going to be Mass Hydra Bane, a couple Vipers for Abduct on the Colossus, Lurkers coming in, as well as Adrenal Glands as the transition. I would say the big concern here is you got 18 Hydras with no range upgrade, which kind of sucks. But there we go. Kicks in. First range upgrade is here. Zealot run by in the south gets cleaned up by these Hydra Bane. Nice move forward. He moves the Banes in to get the maximum connection in the middle of those Zealots. And here we go. Big army in the north. Stasis Trap will freeze some of those units. Notice the Vipers are trying to avoid the feedbacks. He's going in, going out. The Archons have to morph, and then the Vipers go forward. They abduct those Colossus. One of them does get out of there. Nicely played, but Viper goes back for round 2. And look at that. Even pulls back the weak Viper. Gets the high energy ones to go forward. Cracks the nut of that army. And SERRAL, man. What an absolute beast. This man is not just playing defensive to late game. He's playing a lot of kind of late mid-game timings that are crushing through and finding the damage. He seems to have this knack for finding MAXPAX's weak point and is now 1 game from winning. All right, guys, he's kicking butt. He is up 1 game in this series. It's been back and forth, and he's doing it again. 15 hatch is going to be going down for SERRAL in the top left. MAXPAX in the bottom right is going for a very early probe across the map to block. But I don't know, MAXPAX, does this make sense? I don't think you can get there in time. Now, SERRAL did say to me he prefers 14 hatch initially because you can always get the block down, whereas you can't with 15 hatch. But look how early this goes down, man. It's 38 seconds. MAXPAX just cannot get the block going. I really feel if MAXPAX changed his opening to a no scout opening and just went gas first, super greedy, I think he would have a better start in these games. I really think he needed to make that adjustment. I don't think the probe harassment's worth it, but I also understand that MAXPAX now here being on potentially, you know, it's match point for SERRAL. He doesn't want to lose to a 12 pool. He knows SERRAL's capable of doing that while up one game, but I think, you know, with the post-game understanding of how this build works, you really want to be very greedy yourself to take advantage of it. And we'll see how that goes, man. Alright. Probe's going to move down there. Just kind of getting some nice harassment on. Nothing too big. I'm thinking about what I want to see from MAXPAX this game, guys. I'm thinking a sharp Blinkstalker pressure could work. But what about Charge Archon? Or just Charge Oracle? What do you guys think about the Foracle build? 4 Oracles plus Charge Zealots. I actually feel like this could do quite well versus SERRAL. SERRAL is being pretty late on his Rotorn. He's super Zergling focused, which is obviously not as good against the 4 Oracles and the Charge Lots. Especially if you do the +1, quick +1 Charge Lots where they 2-shot the Zerglings, that can be pretty powerful. I think it has potential. The problem is always hiding anything from SERRAL because this man is just in your base. If you go more than 4, it's the Moracle build, apparently. More Oracles, the Moracles. That sounds terrible. Stargate going to go up in the main or no? Looks like this might be a Twilight. Does he cancel Warp Gate? Yes, he does. Cancels Warp Gate, starts the Stargate. Go to SERRAL's camera, guys. He's going to glance at his Overlord and see it. He might have already seen it. Creep Tumor. He looks back at the front. He sees the Cybercore's not spinning. He says, yep, it's a Stargate build. No worries. He also says, ooh, second chrono on the Adept. So that immediately tells SERRAL that he needs to be in a very safe defensive stance. So he's actually changing his drone to go down here because there's a probe blocking the front one. He's also losing his Zerglings that he's trying to run in, but at least that's keeping the Adept at home for now. He does not see that Stargate. Zerglings... Oh, he did! He barely got a... I was like, Zerglings don't have long sight range. Apparently, he barely saw the Stargate. But most importantly, he slowed these Adepts down from coming across the map. And he has his own third base up now. Link speed's on the way. Of course, he's fully pulled off gas here. Third Queen is popping out on the natural momentarily. He's going to go up to 6 Zerglings to deal with these 2 Adepts. Normally, you want to go 10 if you want to fully stop and surround these guys. But it looks like SERRAL's going to rely on this great creep spread to move the Queens forward, get a few hits on them, and just use the Zerglings to stop the shade. There's no way he lets that one finish. Just going to be passive for now is MAXPAX. His first Oracle almost out. Should be a second Oracle before third Nexus usually, guys. He's just waiting. Look at the way this build times out. 150 gas just as the first Oracle finishes. Bloody thing of beauty, isn't it? He's also just hit Chrono Boost energy. He just hit 50 energy on a Nexus. Chrono Boosts, and then he's going to go for that pylon into that Nexus. Adepts are coming forward on this side, not quite able to get that Creep Tumor. Threatening with the Shade, and then the Revelation comes in. He's going to try to clean up, but he only gets 1 active Tumor. So not quite as much as he would have liked there. Spore Crawler goes down in the main pretty late here, guys. SERRAL being kind of greedy. Guys, that's kind of greedy, man. He's only got 4 Queens out right now. And no Spore Crawlers. He's lucky that Oracle didn't go towards the main. I guess I say lucky, but actually look at his vision. I often criticize players for having their Overlords very far back and not seeing them coming. SERRAL does what I prefer, which is put the Overlords really far forward, so that if you see the Oracles coming, you have time to move these slow Queens to actually respond. Like, this is actually very smart for him. It's why his defense is so good. Adepts are going to shade in and grab at least 1 or 2 drones. And make it 1, make it... Nope, nice 4 trick. SERRAL says only 1 drone for you. That's the best you're going to get. No soup for you! No drone for you. SERRAL is the drone Nazi for any Seinfeld fans out there. He makes the best drones in the world, but he isn't going to give you any of them. Third Nexus coming up on that third base. We've got a Twilight into a Forge coming up after the 4 gas on that natural. Oh, no pylons. Oh, it's a bit of a big supply block. He's got to wait about 10 seconds for this Nexus to finish to get out of that one. Not the cleanest opening for MAXPAX, but he did find 4 drones, so... Finding any damage is, of course, a bit of a gift here against SERRAL, who's so on point on that defense. Still no Spore in this third base. He's just got him in the main and the natural, but 3 Queens will push this back for now. Overlord's going to move towards the main Stalkers. We'll take that one out. Oracle's going to pick off a few of these creep tumors. Ooh, he's got to pull back. Okay, we got Zerglings moving in towards the third base. Oracles are going to move north. And here we go. Adept. Ooh, barely gets back in the wall. Okay, good defense there by Mr. MAXPAX. +1 melee into Roachhorn. Back to standard Ravager Bane for SERRAL. This looked really good in his first few games. I think this is a good idea of like, hey, you did Hydra Bane last game. You did Roach Hydra Lurker the game before that. Let's go back to the Ravager Bane, your most solid, well-rounded style. And you're up 6 probes as well. He's going to go 4th Gas Geyser, so just 4 gases for now. Very mineral-focused is SERRAL with this build, and that makes a lot of sense. I do expect him to move this Spore Crawler from the natural out to the 4th, is normally what you do to protect that. Don't want to transfer drones there on their own. Few Lings coming in for a bit of a run by. They could go after this base. The cannon is not ready. If they get in there and kill that cannon, that'd be a fantastic start. He's just going to go after the probes, though, which is, of course, more valuable. Great Stalker warp in. Beautiful Stalker force field to save those workers. Oracles, Stalkers, and Adepts come forward. The Zergling gets killed just before he can set off the stasis trap. Sick play there by MAXPAX. Blink's almost done as his +1. Second Forge goes down, man. Second Forge or die trying. MAXPAX is all about those armor upgrades, and to be fair, if you don't have armor upgrades, Zerglings are going to ruin your day. Armor upgrades severely diminish the power of Zerglings, and even Banelings over time as well. You might not think it's that big, but Banelings only do like 17 damage, 16 damage a hit to armored units. You knock that down to 15, 14, does make a big difference. Big run by getting ready on the top side. Up to 64 drones, going to 70 right now. There's still a big attack on the front. I think he might bring those Lings back to try and defend. There's only 3 base for MAXPAX. MAXPAX is playing highly aggressive right now. Dude, those Zerglings do deny the probe on the 4th base, but this is a scary Stalker army. The thing is, can MAXPAX handle the Lynx around when it comes? Oh, he blinks into a surround, but the Oracles all turn on their lasers, and SERRAL wisely disengages. Ten Roaches, 2 Ravagers, Bane Speed starts up, +2 melee as well on the way. I feel like SERRAL needs to find a way to get something done. Adepts coming through the bottom. Lings do catch it, and you should just cancel that shade, MAXPAX. Don't be sending that in. He's not really paying attention. They do shade in, and they are going to get caught out. Stalkers on the top, trying to bait him into some bad fights. The 4th base is going to go down behind this. You got to watch out. MAXPAX does dodge the biles, but his 4th base gets cancelled. MAXPAX is in trouble. He's gone for a much later 4th. Heavier aggression this game. SERRAL, even though he's under the gun at the front, is constantly denying that 4th. It doesn't go down till 8 minutes. Yona in control of the MAXPAX's expansion rate. And that means these Stalkers have way more pressure on their backs. They need to find not just damage, but they need to find damage in all caps. They need to absolutely smash face those Stalkers. Need to wriggle back into that choke point a little more. Stalkers are continuing forward up there. Zealots warping into main charge is not quite done, but it will be soon. I love the multi-prong from MAXPAX, but he's going to lose the 4th base. It gets killed, not cancelled. That is a huge, huge problem. First one got cancelled. Second one did not. Zealots in the choke point trying to stall out these units. 4 of them get saved for now, but that is a big problem. Zerglings moving to the right side. SERRAL keeping some units alive and efficient. Oracles on the defense. The whole army forced to go on the defense. MAXPAX licking his wounds. He has been outscaled in this game, guys. He did not find enough damage early, and when he went for that Stalker push, that was a hugely committed 6-gate Stalker, 3-base push. If he had a 4th base up behind it, it would be a-okay. But not leaving an Oracle or any Zealots there to defend it, SERRAL finds himself now massively in the lead. He's got Bane speed, he's got Roach speed, he's heading towards Hive with the Infestation Pit on the way, about to finish. Nice Zealot drop, we'll pick off a Queen or 2 potentially. One of the few times where we're actually seeing the Prism be successful is only when SERRAL's dealing with a giant Stalker push on the front as he was earlier in this game. 2 Zealots survive, have to pick up and pull back as there is now a pack of Ling Roach in that main base. There's no such thing as over-committing to defending a Warp Prism because you never know what else is going to warp in there. SERRAL cleans up this backstab as well. He has so much supply, he can swarm all 3 fronts at once. Overwhelming numbers, pretty much everywhere except up the middle. Queen does push back this, as does the Spore Crawler. Zealot drops in, but it does get cleaned up. Ling, Roach, Bane getting ready for a run by on the south side. That's going to get caught by the Zealots. Roaches will trade okay versus it, as it's similar numbers in this fight. Baneling's rolling in from the right side, blow up the cannon, the battery, a pylon. That needs to be replaced, or MAXPAX is wide open to the next wave. So this is kind of just setting up for future waves. He knew he wasn't going to get in the probe since there were Stalkers there, and he just took the kind of backup prize, essentially. Still only 3 Oracles in this game, but a second Robo or Robo Bay. These are the tools MAXPAX needs to get back in this one. If he can get a few balls out, that he can definitely, you know, hang on, survive, drag this game to the long stage, which is what he needs. Because it's not about winning, it's about surviving. SERRAL, though, has a hive up, which means adrenal glands and vipers are no doubt on the menu for the near future. That prism still being a bit of an annoyance, but now that he's got 2 spores on the edge, which I don't know if he built those, I think he just moved those from the main mineral line and the natural mineral line. I love that. Repurposing the earlier spore crawlers. He's not really worried about oracles flying into those bases. You know, he's got spores on the exposed bases, which is way more important. So kind of zones out the edge of the main very well. Roachling Bane trying to group up on the north. MAXPAX gets a few free pot shots before the army turns on him. Stasis trap. Great stasis force field. Probes pulling away to that right side base. Nicely done here by MAXPAX. He's got to defend those workers, though. There's lings over there. Uh-oh. The probes running, realizing they're running from dead base to dead base. If SERRAL gets both of these Nexi, that is a massive victory. He's killed 7 probes. Yes, it's a lot of army he's losing, like the oracles lasering them on the right, but he gets the Nexus on the left as well. My lord. Do not give SERRAL a lead in this video game. It's not fair, guys. These Banelings right now having a Mexican standoff with those probes. They go, we're going to blow you up, boys. Stalkers do come down and say, get away from my kids. Zealots in the south cleaning up. Or cleaned up, I should say, by the Ling Bane. Prism surviving on 3 hit points in the north. MAXPAX staying active, but these active fights aren't cost efficient enough to make up for the fact that he's on 3 base at almost 12 minutes. His natural is half mined out. His main is half mined out and soon to be fully mined out, and his 4th base is simply not up. It's a huge problem. He's adding Archons with that gas income, which thankfully Archons are the saving grace of a low economy Protoss. You've always got extra gas income on these earlier bases, and you can always just kind of replace things with Archons as a nice meat shield, but he's going to need a lot of them up front and center. He cannot lose this base again. Lings on the right side. Massive baller Roach Baneling from the left. 100 Zerglings, 14 Roaches, 40 Banelings going to cascade forward. That Nexus needs to survive. MAXPAX blinks his Stalkers back. The Colossus started stepping. The Archons taking those hits for the team. That was 40 Banelings to kill 1 Archon. The other Archon survives. That was the sickest defensive fight ever MAXPAX could take. But he loses a Nexus, and SERRAL says, that's fine with me. Any trade's a good trade. I'm denying your mining. You've got no income. Meanwhile, I'm at 3,400 minerals a minute. To put that in perspective, a Zergling is 25 minerals. You can build 4 Zerglings per 100 minerals, which means you can build 40 Zerglings per 1,000 minerals. Times by 3. That's right, guys. He can build about 125 Zerglings, or 120 plus, as that number kind of dips up and down over, you know, every single minute that goes by. So SERRAL can throw away an army like that, replace it, throw away an army like that, replace it. Meanwhile, MAXPAX sitting at 2k minerals a minute. Yeah, I mean, he's building a big, scary army. As long as SERRAL stays on Ravager Ling Bane, there is a win condition, right? Get Storm, get Archon Colossus, take a sick fight, win the game. Problem, Lurker Den's coming in. None of this Protoss army deals with Lurkers. There's no Immortals, there's no Disruptors. Lurkers will counter this entire army. And as good as MAXPAX is doing a job of keeping SERRAL occupied, SERRAL is just saying, dude, I've come into this season with a brand new build, Eric's 15 hatch opener, and I am swarming over people. I'm not letting my natural get delayed. I'm not letting my expansions get duped or dealt with, and I am simply outnumbering my opponents. Overseer in the main there, he's going to go for a bit of a scout, making sure there's no Skytoss transition. Vipers coming in from that side. Abducts could be devastating. You need to land Storms and feedbacks right now as MAXPAX. He doesn't know about the Vipers. Oh god, he's just going to abduct the Archons into the Ling Roach. Good start there. Psy Storms do go down. Oh no, you can't lose the High Templar. You can't lose the High Templar. Okay, he's out of High Templar. Oh no! He loses his High Templar, which means the Abducts reign supreme. Obviously, you'd prefer the Colossus to the Archons, but just killing those Archons is enough. The numbers of SERRAL overwhelming right now. +3 melee, +2 range is about to kick in. His Lurker upgrade's coming in. He's going to add Lurkers for the next wave. MAXPAX has a nice little core of army that he's surviving with, but is surviving really enough. 10 gates. He's got a 5th base up now. He does need to get transferring those workers. Even his 3rd base is half mined out now. And SERRAL has got a big economy advantage. Where are those workers right now? He's got 70 probes, but his income kind of just seems scuffed. I guess it's mostly gas mining right now. And just not that much minerals. What the hell? Banelings rolling in. Stalker Cannon. Limiting the damage to 8 probes. Not the end of the world for that many Banelings. But as SERRAL has been saying this whole time, any trade's a good trade. I am rich, you are poor. And I'm going to throw my black Amex card at the Protoss server and say, deal with it, idiot. You know, unfortunately, MAXPAX right now, he doesn't have that financial freedom to say, go F yourself. He's got to take it. He has to find a way to slowly dig himself out of the trenches. And then, I don't know, maybe in the future he'll be rich and he can turn around and throw his own Amex back at SERRAL and say, eat that one. But right now, SERRAL's the man with the money, with all the advantages in life. And MAXPAX is just on the ropes. He's got a lot of High Templar with Storm, and this is a good army for defending ground, but the problem is if these Lurkers get sieged on a base, he can't really break that position with only one Immortal and a few Archons in the mix, man. Oracles come up for some nice Revelations. That's the best detection you can get. High Templar don't really outrange the Lurkers, but he gets some good zoning storms anyway. This is actually a very scary Protoss ground army. Is there a Great Aspire yet? There's no Great Aspire. Is SERRAL stalling out on ground tech for too long? I don't know, guys. Another Baneling attack's going to come from that side. I feel like a Nidus Worm in the main could win things. MAXPAX has done a spectacular job of getting back in this game. Oh, 10 drones just went down in the bottom. Guys, big Zealot run by clears that one up as 9 probes go down. SERRAL able to absorb these punches a little bit better. Oh, beautiful spready on those Zealots. Yes, the Banelings end up hitting them, but that's not the best trade. Banelings do cost a decent amount. Archon, Colossus, Oracle coming down the south. 14 Lurkers, 2 Vipers. Problem is there's no High Templar. Oh, man, that's a lot of Lurkers. Get out of there. Get out of there, MAXPAX. You cannot break this. I like the way that he's pressuring right now. He's also adding disruptors. The random Lyot on the ramp on that south side. Just kind of staring at things. The Spinecrawler Forest says, get out of here. And those Zealots are going to have to pull back. Disruptors cannot shoot to that high ground. Careful there. Storm on the drones would be nice, but SERRAL respects it. He pulls back. And a mass circling run by MAXPAX's position is very fragile right now. Things could go awry very, very quickly. And that's a lot of Zerglings. He quickly morphs Archons, which should be able to defend this with the help of the Zealots. This is +3 melee Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. Oh my god, they do so much damage! Oh my god, oh my god. He has to battery overcharge just to defend his base from a pack of Zerglings. Carapace upgrades starting to be added in now in the late game as SERRAL rounds out his tech. Double Spire on the way. He's got the Hydralisk upgrades just to help out with that handful of Hydras that he's got. Double Ball Shot goes forward, takes out a Lurker and 3 drones, sieging this position quite nicely. MAXPAX looking for some Psy Storms as well as potentially some Abducts. Overseer is sieged up in the bottom at any point. SERRAL could go for a Nidus choice, but he hasn't even started the tech yet, so it looks like he's not going to bother. More of a late game ZvT choice for him, I guess. With Warp in available, Protoss is very good at dealing with those moves, not to mention Recall. Overseer still perving on the high ground. The Disruptors. Dude, how is MAXPAX alive? I cannot believe it. Broodlords are morphing, but they're not ready yet. Dude, MAXPAX is actually going to get a base kill here. SERRAL out of position. What the hell? Oh my god, if MAXPAX brings this back and gets us a Game 7, this would be incredible. He's been so behind in this game for so long. Those Disruptors dancing back and forth. A big Archon attack in the bottom. Smashes through. He just killed all the Queens with these Archons, guys. There's no Queens left on this map. He has to pull back as SERRAL splits off some Hydras there. But what a fantastic play by MAXPAX. He gets some very good trades. He's been 10,000 resources more efficient. He's going to roast the drones from the low ground. But the Broodlords have arrived. And as those Brood Mamas arrive, they slingshot their children to their deaths. With absolute chaos. Get out of there, MAXPAX. Oh god, MAXPAX stays a bit too long. He's attacking with Archon Zealot in the south. They get surrounded by Lurkerling Hydra. Good fight for SERRAL. SERRAL shuts down the south side while picking off a few Immortals in the top. That one barely surviving in the red. A very good split of his units. I think if he can hit the main with a big Zealot warp in or something while doing that, it would have been god tier. Wasn't quite able to do it. The Stargate and the Fleet Beacon start up. MAXPAX is going to limp his way to late game. He realizes and feels that this is not a breakable position. Mass Lurker Broodlord is the ultimate anti-ground army. And he's like, well, I can't really break it. I mean, I killed a base, I killed some units, but I think I need to go late game. And that's always a scary prospect because SERRAL obviously he's been winning in the late mid game. Hasn't really had to play a late game this series. But we know that he's experienced there. I mean, we've all watched his stream. I'm so bad. Oh my god, I'm playing so bad. Oh my, I suck. This game is so scrappy. This game sucks. I suck. Oh my god, I hate late game ZvP while playing the best ZvP we've ever witnessed. That's basically SERRAL on a daily basis. He is a god of this matchup. We've seen him up against the wall so many times on his stream and just come back and win from massive deficits. And this game, of course, did start with him in the lead. Nidus Worm's going to go up. That'll be a nice way to trade out the Lurkers. Once you want to swap to full Infestor Broodlord, you still want usually a couple Lurkers in reserve just to stop any forward blinks or anything like that. But Definitely something you got to be careful with. Oh, another wave of Zerglings. Oh no, MAXPAX, you got to defend this economy, dude. Loses the Nexus, losing more probes. MAXPAX is taking way too long to establish the 6th base. His income sucks in comparison to what SERRAL had earlier, but right now he's actually even. SERRAL needs to expand to some new bases as well. I think he should be focusing very hard on his creep spread. He's got a layer of spores and lurkers on the bottom. Overseer set up in the main base. I mean, MAXPAX really should be dealing with that. He should know that Nidus Worm is a very real capability. MAXPAX. MAXPAX, we're on his camera. He's not watching. He sees it. He sees it. He sees it. No, he went home to Chrono and he sees it. Okay, he sees it when he goes to Chrono. That could pop up. I don't think it'll be that effective. With Tempest overhead, you don't really want to pop out of that. And indeed, it is more of a distraction. Nidus, he didn't even have it loaded. 3 drones go down. Can the Broodlords get an Archon in revenge? Oh, Abduct is pretty sick, man. He gets a Stalker. Viper goes down to the forward blink. MAXPAX with some slick plays, but Disruptor does fall as well. 2 cannons and a battery are going to try to defend. Adrenal Gland Zerglings laugh in the most ridiculous attack speed of all time. I mean, they laugh in PCP, right? SERRAL has fed his Zerglings PCP, and much like that scene in the original Terminator movie, they could single-handedly walk down a hallway of police cannons and kill every single one of them. And of course, their explanation will be like, oh, he must be on PCP. He doesn't even feel the pain when he's getting shot. And I'm like, yeah, it seems like a believable explanation, guys. The guy that just ate up like a few hundred bullets from your entire police station and killed everyone with a machine gun. He's on PCP. That explains it. To be fair, I don't know how we can justify Zerglings having that attack speed. Maybe it is just PCP, guys. Tempests, Archons, Disruptors, and Colossus roaming forwards. MAXPAX, he's got a few Tempests, which is nice, but he doesn't really have the carrier bulk up or anything. He's not forced a pack of Corruptors. It's just a handful of Corruptors and a lot of Infestors and Lurkers right now. The timely movie references, as always, here, guys. 1986 was a good year. I don't remember what year it was, actually. Probably 88, something like that, the original Terminator. Anyways. Knight is popping up in the bottom side. Oh, man. The probe see it. He's not reacting. He's not reacting. If there's lurkers in that, they're going to cause big trouble. Oh, fungal parasitic bomb. Fungal parasitic bomb combo. The Tempests are getting wrecked. Another fungal goes down. Where are those Corruptors? They're not diving on it just yet. They're not diving. Lurkers have popped out inside MAXPAX. Backdoor. Surprise backdoor assault. Oh, my God. SERRAL, as always, being a nasty boy. Mama tries to go in the main to do the recall. But the army was getting owned at the same time, so he doesn't go for it. Corruptors are going to try to catch him. He catches the Corruptors. Corruptors, can they take out Mama before they go out? Yes, they can, if he goes for it, and he does. Mama throws down the timeout, but by the time it pops, the Corruptors have already done their business. Lurkers take out MAXPAX 6 base. MAXPAX is desperate right now. He's got to get out of here. He needs to rebuild that economy, but he's just not doing it. He feels desperate, like he needs to keep SERRAL in his corner of the map. SERRAL might not have the biggest economy, but his efficiency is off the chain. These Lurkers are ravaging. I think MAXPAX just feels a bit helpless. You guys have to realize, why is MAXPAX playing like this in the late game? It feels a little bit like he's just not in control. He was so behind earlier in this game. This is such a half-assed air transition from him. He's essentially stuck on mass ground with a few Tempests to potentially snipe Broodlords from afar. It's not the ideal late game. It is so far from the ideal late game that I think there's got to be a little bit of helplessness in terms of him feeling like, what do I even do here? Like, do I really start +2 air weapons and carriers 24 minutes in the game when he's already got mass Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor? This doesn't feel like a game-winning play. It just feels like a survival play. And so MAXPAX is trying to be aggressive and keep that forward position and force mistakes out of SERRAL, but SERRAL's spellcaster usage is so damn clean. He's coming out on top, and oh no, round 2 of the bloody backdoor Nidus Worm surprise. I feel like SERRAL's strategy sometimes could be described simply by the name of a whole bunch of movies from Blockbuster, from that little section behind the curtain. Anyways, Nidus Worm and the Overseer get picked off. Much better defense for MAXPAX that time. Uh-oh, we gotta watch out over here. The cannon is there. He's gonna have to pull those probes away, but they're walled off on the inside of the mineral line. They can't escape. Oh no, every probe that goes down is such a problem. Oh my god, he just abducted something there. A Tempest or 2 maybe went down, I believe, as they were rotating south. Great abducts for SERRAL. The Corruptor squad rampaging, the Broodlords raining. This here is what we call the chasm of death, guys. How many times have we seen Broodlords ruining a base across that gap? Lurkers coming. Get out, SERRAL. Okay, SERRAL saves almost all of his Lurkers, only loses 1. Great evacuation for the GOAT. MAXPAX has put up a bloody good fight in this series, but right now he is pressed with his back up against the wall, and he's going to be forced to stand his ground. And when your opponent has got a big old broadsword there swinging in midsection, you're using a piece of cardboard you picked up off the ground as a body shield. and you're forced to fight them, to stand your ground, it is not going to go well. SERRAL looking to cleave this nerd in half. He's got him cornered. The Broodlords, the Infestors, pushing him up against the edge. There is nothing MAXPAX can do. There is no space to breathe. He's trying to use Sandstorm. His Tempests are trying to focus the Broodlords, but the Corruptor Viper hunting those Tempests down with a vicious, vicious focus. Gets another Tempest there as well. And MAXPAX, he's in his corner. He's wilting. He's out of breath. And he's lost every single probe that is mining right now. Guys, his income is gone. His income's gone. He's got one mineral patch. That's it. SERRAL is still maxed out. Carrier, Mama's about to build round 2, but MAXPAX is just behind in this. And I got to say, hats off to MAXPAX for fighting back as well as he did, but also hats off to SERRAL for denying the 4th base so many times in this game. This does look like it is the last breaths of MAXPAX. He's trying to defend lurkers by doing a zealot dance, but unlike a rain dance, this does not make the lurkers pop from the skies and explode into moisture. The Archons, the Colossus, and the Tempest trying to come forward. He's going to have to go for the fight. Watch out for the Fungal, guys. Actually, Great Storm, and I think there was a feedback that actually took out that Infestor. Oh, the Fungal Parasitic Bomb Wombo combo. Another Fungal. And notice the Broodlords are sieging him from out of range. MAXPAX doesn't even stay to see that army get taken out. He just got absolutely obliterated in that last game. SERRAL comes out on top of what was a very hard-fought grand finals. That was a bloody fantastic play from both of them. MAXPAX put up a very good fight, but at the end of the day, SERRAL just a little bit too good. And this final game, I mean, he canceled this 4th base here, I think 3 times, including 1 kill. And MAXPAX, even though he had a good forward position, if you don't have the 4th base behind it, it's all for naught. GG, well played. SERRAL wins the ESL Regionals. Eric's 15, Hatch 15 pool looks amazing in his hands. And I can't wait to see what he's got in store for us in Sweden. GG, well played.